All right, what's up, everybody? Sorry for the delay. Couple minutes late. Business as usual. Let me go ahead and turn that auto focus off. So we had a couple, you know, we had a couple events over the weekend that kind of show us a little bit of insight on what we saw, or kind of like justified what was released on the tier list that we did last week, which was I had a blast doing that. And I thought the predictions came out pretty good. Um, so there were four events, three PTI events. No, there were just four CC PTI events. Was the conclusion, right? um, and Zen won two of them, and I had him as my top deck. And then we had Enigma win one, and then we had Levia win one. And so all of those heroes were in my top. What Zen was my top. Enigma was what, number four. Levia was like number six, and then yeah. So like we did pretty good on the tier list to like justify the results. Um, so feel pretty good about it. Other than that, did we learn like anything? Um, was there anything that happened over the weekend that is going to significantly um, kind of adjust things? And I think that the most impactful thing that happened over this weekend was Noah's list was released. I think that happening, I don't think it's perfect. I think he even said it himself that he would replace um, several cards, but I think it's a great starting point for a lot of players. And Enigma is one of those heroes where there's a big spectrum as far as like how you can play the hero, and people kind of saw like what you should be doing. I'm not saying that that'll be the final like end point of the deck. I'm just saying that it gave a lot of people in Flesh and Blood a direction, right? No, Noah played the Enigma list is the one I'm referring to. I'm referring to the impact of the meta that will happen uh, due to that list being released. Basically, it just gives a lot of people direction on the hero, which is important, right? Whereas like Pudding gave good direction on where Zen should go, right? Uh, and I don't think there was a new list that was in. I think there was two of them in the top eight of the Canadian PTI event. I haven't dug too much into them to kind of like vet whether that will make a large direction. I think as far as new goes, I think the biggest point is like what blue stealth cards you use and how many attack reactions you run. I don't think the deck really needed direction. I think it needs a lot of skill behind it, but I don't think it really needs anybody to say, "Hey, you should play it this way," kind of situation. So there wasn't any progress on that front with that hero. Is the point I'm trying to make. So Enigma players will have more direction now. So expect that going forward into national season, right? Uh, a lot less of people just trying to figure stuff out. That was kind of like the last piece that we were missing with the new heroes. So it's very important. Keep that in mind. And then, yeah, so Zen had really good results. I think Zen's very strong. We're going to be playing some Zen today. We're going to be doing some gameplay. I'll be playing Pudding's list, changed five or six cards. Nothing like super crazy or anything like that. Just a couple cards that I prefer to play over some others. Uh, Let me get caught up in chat. Hope people much smarter than me can figure this out. I love Zen, but I cannot seem to do anything in this meta. My opponent just vaguely thinks about disrupting. The deck folds. Okay. So that has a lot to do with basically the build of your Zen deck. So like let's look at that for a second. Let's say you run the card Roar of the Tiger, right? Roar of the Tiger without other cards that like generate tigers and Art of War and other components, it does nothing. The card literally is one value if you play it and then play your tiger. It can be a little bit more than that, but like you understand the idea, right? So adding that card, same thing for Maul, right? Anytime you add Maul, you if you don't have a crouching tiger, it doesn't do anything, right? I'll take it a step further. If you don't have a way to pump the tigers, it once again does not do anything. So now having those cards increases the ceiling. We saw that in the differences between Pudding's list and mine in the Card Guys and Blue Pitch show match, right? We saw kind of how my deck kind of produced a higher ceiling on average, whereas Pudding's was kind of like just scrunch the variance, right? Lower highs but higher lows, right? And basically, when you're deck building, those are the considerations you need to take in. Are you adding cards that really, really rely? Because when they throw that choke slam or whatever is giving you trouble, CNC, whatever the case may be, you have to block with those cards, and they don't do anything if you block, and you get put in these situations and stuff like that. So it can come down to deck building. Not always. Sometimes you just draw a crap hand and, it'd be like that. I'm not sure what to play at Nat still. I can basically build everything except brutes. Well, hang out for a little bit and we'll play some Zen and see if that's the direction that you might want to go. Biggest skill in playing new is not drawing new hands. That is correct, but also that includes the factor of, you know, once again, deck building, do you have too many reactions? Do you have not enough? Those are some things that if you've never used a hypergeometric calculator before, just Google it. It's really easy. You just plug in how many cards you have in your deck. Sample size would be 4 cards, and the 4 cards you draw. You plug in how many of whatever, and it'll give you a percentage and chance to draw X, right? So if you've never used that, there's some great ways to kind of take care of those ratios. Also, doing the whole room blade math that I've taught several times on stream about basically counting cards like blackjack in Flesh and Blood. If you're interested in that, I've done that in a couple streams, went over that. And it'll give you a great idea on how to kind of mathematically predict what is coming in the deck, right? So, uh, biggest skill. Yeah, we already went that. What's your take on New being the most represented deck in Montreal event? People run all over Zen. I mean, that's probably a little bit of it. So, how a hero plays at a so I don't want to call a battle harden or a I don't want to call a battle harden or a PTI event like a softer event, but like anytime something is like open invitational, right? Like you don't have to qualify for it or anything like that. Uh, you really have to give more weight to heroes that do something cool, right? Uh, like it cannot be understated. New does something that is just fundamentally fun to do, right? Looking at the opponent's hand, tearing it apart, disruption, just there's a lot going on there that a lot of people enjoy. And I think that's got a lot to do with it. I don't think the representation of new was on the basis of competitive play. I think that people enjoyed the hero. They played what they wanted to play. That hero interested them uh, the most when the heroes were released, and that's what they ended up playing. That's just speculation, though. That's just speculation, and that is what I believe it to be. Whether that holds, I believe we have a PTI event in Vegas and maybe one more somewhere else in the world this weekend. So we'll see if that holds true. It'll be very interesting to see if that does hold, but it's a very good point, right? It's a very, very good point. Thought you were a Riptide main. Man, we got into that today, didn't we? Riptide was on the table until today. If I'm being 100% honest, I had not 100% locked in my deck until about 3 hours ago. And Riptide was one of the contenders. And then I found a data point that kind of persuaded me against making that decision. So I could be wrong on that data point, but I believe it to be true, and we'll see how it works out. No side taggers here. Absolutely. It's built into Fabrary. Yeah, there is hypergeometric built into Fabrary. Absolutely. Utilize those amazing tools that Philip produces for all of us. Shout out to Philip. He does amazing, amazing work. I love to tell this story. I was midstream and I was building a Vinet deck right when she came out. And literally, Philip was watching the stream, and I was during the deck building process. I was like, man, I would love to have like a little line that said, "You have this much blood debt." By the time I concluded my stream, it was in February. So shout out to Philip, does amazing work. He just the goat, simple as that. Works too hard probably, but we'll take what we can get from the community, right? Um, Thoughts on Salt the Wound in Zen? I think it's a solid card. I think you can't. It can give you a little bit of edge in those mirror matches, but once again, let's talk about that discussion that we just had, right? With Roar the Tiger and cards that require other things. If you have Salt the Wound in your hand, it is the value of Salt the Wound is predicated on keeping your entire hand, right? So if you get hit with that disruption, of course it blocks 3 and that's fine, but if we keep making those decisions, it can have a cascading effect. So I think it's perfectly valid to have in your deck. Just understand the opportunity cost associated with putting it in there. Am I allowed to say what deck I'm locked on? I cannot say right now. I cannot say. I can say that you would not be surprised. I can say that. The Katsu that topped the ProQuest Plus in Montreal didn't use new cards. Whether he didn't have new cards or didn't need one, I was shocked. Katsu didn't get any new cards. That's probably why. The only card that he could like conceivably use would be Aspect of the Body, but that doesn't really work in Katsu because his leading red typically needs to combo with the following card. So therefore you cannot fit that card. Basically, Aspect is only good if you rip it off of a red bonds, because then you can play it on the end and you have no cost. But also, Katsu doesn't run Shuko, so you don't actually get any value from the Tiger 90% of the time. So there's not any good reason. Whereas in a deck like Fi, it's like an auto trigger on your Shuko every single time when you play that card. Riptide is valid. Absolutely. I think it's a solid deck. I just didn't like the spread personally. What? Is the data point named Prism? No, the data point was not named Prism, but that's another aspect where I don't fully feel comfortable in that matchup. I'm bringing Riptide to Nats. I know you just said it's off the table, but do you think it's a valid pick? I do think it's a valid pick. Like if somebody brought Riptide, I would not be like, see at the side events or anything like that. I would not say anything like that. I would say that it's a respectable pick that does pick on an aspect of the meta. It has a amazing new match, or not new match. Well, it does have a good new matchup, and also has a good Enigma matchup, right? So I think that Riptide is a solid pick. Bro, we're dropping frames. But yeah, so like I was saying, sorry about that. I think that Riptide is a fine pick. It's just not the pick for me. Simple as that. Let me keep getting caught up in chat. Jake said salt is basically just lava burst in the list. Sometimes it can be better. That is a good analysis of the card. But what does lava burst require you to do? Keep your entire hand, right? And it's also much harder for Zen to reach combat chain 4 than it is Zen. Zen has ways to manipulate it by like leaning on the boots, but you don't want to use your boots to like make assault do one more. Like that's not where you want to be with the boots. The boots should be used for like good stuff like banishing for Artivore and stuff like that. Yeah, Prism's a decent matchup. It's just not. It's not where I want it to be. As simple as that. Late to the party. Have we talked about the expected metagame? I did talk about Noah's list being out there and how it'll give a lot of Enigma players a good direction. So expect Enigma players to be a little bit better going forward because they have a solid foundational starting point. Pretty sure Philip told me the whole reason Fabry exists is because the FabDB dev wouldn't put in a hypergeometric calculator. If you don't do it, somebody will, right? Right? Kano is best week 1 deck. I think Kano's a phenomenal pick. I had him at what? 4th? 5th? I think he's phenomenal. Didn't think it was cool that all the heroes in the new collection give a huge power creep to Kasai, who is relatively new here. Was fine. Yeah. Warrior is just in a rough spot. Josh kind of somewhat came to that conclusion during his stream yesterday. And it's unfortunate, right? Because if you look at Warrior over the past 3 years, they really haven't, since Crucible of War, had like their window. And they finally got their window, and it lasted 2 months. Like, it's actually really unfortunate. I know a lot of people really enjoyed that play style, and I don't feel as bad as for the Guardian players, but I do feel I feel for the Warrior players specifically. Well, I mean, all of them really. Like Decimator Axe is just gone, or it should be. Then you have, dual wielding Warrior. Just the game is getting away from just. I can't say that it's going away from math, but the math matters less on a turn-to-turn basis when somebody can just do 30 damage out of nowhere. And that's just the reality of it. So I didn't think it was. Oh yeah, we already went over that. So yeah, feels bad for Warrior. What's up, DM? Good to see you. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate it. We were talking about how amazing your pools are. I guess he opened a good box. Hey, Nathan, I forgot to mention it in the previous stream, but how are you enjoying the meta compared to previous ones? I would say right now, I enjoy this meta more than any meta after Briar's LL. So any point after Briar LL, this has been my favorite so far. So about a year? Yeah, because Briar went away last US Nats. So my favorite meta in this past year, I would say. Don't usually catch this live here at 2x speed. Oh man, me talking at 2x? I bet I sound even worse. Yeah, Kasai's not in a fantastic spot. That's it. That's it. Vera, stop telling people about Zen. I gotta do it. Do you feel Zen is more of a high roll or high skill ceiling deck? I think it's both. I think that it has the potential to give you a hand that gives you the win, but it also requires some navigating, especially in any matchup that provides any form of disruption. I think the worst thing that a Zen player cannot have is patience. Put it that way. You think people are gonna have fun this meta? I feel like I'm ready to see some Twitter. It's interesting. I think people will have fun, but the polarized matchups got worse. And everybody knows my stances on the polarized matchups. I understand the necessity of them and how it brings excitement to the game, makes things not dull. I understand that. I just don't like the degree of which the polarization exists. And when MST came out, it just got worse. The one thing that does kind of suck is like, I know Katsu had a good weekend. I know that. But what's going to happen, and Nats will prove this, I'm fairly positive, is that there's just no reason to play the non-talented versions of the heroes that came out. I don't think that Azuri will do better than New. I don't think that Katsu will do better than Zen. I just don't. And it's unfortunate for the players that really put in the work on those heroes because they have to wait now even longer for something to change or for their opportunity to reopen. So, and Vera has a good point. All the Mystic heroes have some pretty rough mirror matches. New, it really comes down to who gets the better banishes and who has more blues in their sideboard that they can tech out. So, like, there is some play there and some leverage that you can obtain. The Zen is it's just any aggro mirror, I guess. And then you have the Enigma mirror, which can literally end in 40-0 to nobody's fault, right? So it can just get out of hand quickly in those mirror matches. I do agree. But I'm finally caught up in chat. I love this streamer. He's handsome and skillful. Kaiser, too kind, too kind. I miss you guys. I miss you guys. Kaiser, drop it in chat. Let me know who's going to Amsterdam. I don't think I've asked you guys yet, so let me know. Let me know. All right, so let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and play some matches. Like I said, we're not working with anything crazy spicy here. We changed a couple cards off of Pudding's list from the show match, and we are gonna go with that and see what happens. I'm gonna switch screens in just a second. I promise. I promise. I'm not gonna leave you guys hanging. All right. We found us a Mango Jack in the wild. Watching Josh lose to Enigma in 2 turns was painful to watch. He said somebody clipped the whole match. For those of you who don't know, a clip can only be 60 seconds long. That's like how bad that is. Like, it's horrendous. It is absolute. We're just gonna run the standard package. Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. We'll just roll with it. See what happens. Okay. Okay. So what we're gonna do here is let's go ahead. So with Zen, it's very important to have some graveyard feel, right? You need some targets for bonds if you were playing the bonds. And this card is just so good. So what I'm going to do is play the 100 wins, put that in the graveyard, so therefore it is obtainable via bonds. And then we're going to, we also love seeing that get blocked with. And then we're going to inefficiently pitch this. And then we're going to arsenal the Harmony, right? The card that can help us transcend, which is a goal that we have. We want to do that very quickly in the match. Another one, love to see it. Love to see it. That basically means that he probably has like a Blood Rush Bellow or something in his hand because those are some key cards. There's got to be a reason he's running it, right? So this is pretty standard hand. I mean, I would like to be able to play this Bonds. I just don't see it in the cards, unfortunately. So once again, send packing. It's disruptive. That's fine. We are just going to try and play a value hand. Once again, get this in the graveyard so we can go and reach later. We'll get our 2-card 7 in by activating our weapon and ending with a mauling key. Once again, arseling the card we wanted to keep. And also, Ancestral Harmony is really good in this matchup because it can give you an essential combo piece that's not in the hand that can play around Fleshback, which is like really important, right? So now we are ready to go. We have established what we want to do, right? We have a Mauling Key in the graveyard. We have 100 Winds, a Descendant, and a Bonds. I would prefer if there were some different colors in there, but it is what it is. So now we are ready. We are ready for the deck to give us the hand, if you will. I wish we would have already transcended. That would be the perfect. Well, I spoke a little too soon. Oh man. Yeah. Uh Erase everything I just said. This is not. Okay. What I'm about to do, I don't recommend at home. But I think I'm going to block with the boots to banish with Art of War. And I'm going to hope my opponent fleshbags unless I just draw the juice, right? But I don't want to give Reinar free tempo when I see him playing Sin Packing, Strength Rules All, and Weakest Link. This is one of it seems like this is going to be one of the windows where I will have an opportunity to make an active play. And some would say, why don't you block with a Wind Chakra? Well, I haven't drawn a Transcend card, so I'm kind of hoping that I draw a Transcend card off of this Art of War. Is kind of my intentions. And the worst case scenario, I will just hold the second one for the following turn if I really have to. So we're just going to go ahead and rip it. And then if we draw the Transcend card, we are ready with the Wind Chakra. Well, I guess we didn't need that because we have the Harmony in Arsenal. But it also gives us another pitch card because we have another Art of War. So I don't know. I'm just banking on drawing gas. All right, I'm going to be honest with you, chat. All right, we got the Transcend. We didn't get a whole lot else, but we got the Transcend. This hand's really, really bad. Like really, really bad. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna swing weapon. And now that hand is a data point. That was a good one, Thomas. That was a good one, Thomas. Oh shit, we did this wrong. We want to transcend on the weapon swing. So we need to go. We're going all in. We have to draw it. We have to draw it off of this. Okay, that's good. We have a card we can play. And then we do Path Well Traveled, which will give us a chi. We'll activate Zen. Then we're going to Art of War again, looking for any semblance of what would be considered a playable card. Would we like to Gain a resource. I love resources. We'll gain the resource. And then we're also going to. I feel like we're wasting all this gas for absolutely nothing, but we have to. We like we're too committed. We're too committed. So this is actually a very interesting decision that has a lot of a lot of implications later on. And if I'm being 100% honest, I really want to grab an aspect of the tiger body to simply turn on, have a way, assuming I draw a red, which I've drawn so many blues, I have to draw a red. If we get the aspect of body or aspect of tiger body, we have a way to make another tiger, which will turn on this tiger swipe, which is kind of important. So I'm going to go with the safe option. The second option that you have, I think, is getting red descendant here. I think is like the next safest option. That way, if you rip into the bonds, you can kind of just do whatever you want, right? But I'm gonna go with aspect because we already have the tiger swipe banished, and we're gonna hopefully draw a red with some sort of go again. We have captain's call as a backup if it doesn't, if it's zero cost and doesn't have go again. I mean, this is horrible. Spinning is the safe pick. I will agree. This keeps getting worse. It actively is getting worse. Every time I draw cards, it's just getting worse. It's just getting worse. Oh my god. Okay. Okay, we have an out. We have a out that we can do. So what we're gonna do is we're literally going to play Wind Chakra because why not? And then oh, this hand is so bad. This hand is actively just horrendous. Then we're going to play Captain's Call to name Go again because we need to give the Tiger Swipe Go again, which gives the aspect Go again, which will give us a Tiger, which will give this one Go again. Unfortunately, and he's gonna talk shit. I hope he does. He said, "This is spicy." It's bad. I'm not even gonna. Oh man, Zen is all copium. No, this is like post deck check, not shuffled. I mean, I saw in what was it? Collect. It had to be a double art of words. That's in 8 cards. I saw one red card in 8 cards. I do not want to play the one from hand because if we're being honest, I would love to get the flashback here. I would love it so much. Uh, Chat, you're laughing, but we're still gonna win this game. I don't know how. I haven't worked out the math, but we're still gonna win this game. We want Zen to get banned, not to get an expansion slot next set. Oh god, this is too good. This is the irony in this. Um, Hey, I mean, these tigers coming in kind of thick. I'm just, just saying. At least we turned a hand that did literally 2 damage into maybe 20, right? We had to use 3 of the best cards in our deck to do so, and a piece of equipment, but we're gonna glance over that. We're not going to. Oh, feels like Josh getting demoralized about Warrior all over again. Oh man. In case you're wondering, I know I can transcend here with Stir the Pot, but because I drew every single blue in my deck, I'm actively gonna arsenal it to then shuffle back the blues. And also, I can just transcend on a later turn, which is going to be very hard because I've already went through so many blue cards. But I was forced to block with all my reds, and then we drew all of them. So this is good. We got him off a hand. We have tempo. We're ahead on life, and we only used 1 piece of armor. So it we're doing okay. It's not exactly showing the deck off by any means, but we're doing something. Okay. Okay. We do want to go ahead and transcend here. So what we're gonna do is the question is, do we actually go get something? We want to transcend, but do we actually want to go get something? Is the question. Because I can play 100 wins, transcend, gain a resource. Well, yeah, then we can go uh tiger, breed anger into like oh, we can get aspect. Oh, we won't have the resource for chase the tail, unfortunately. So, what we'll do is we'll go and get the transcend. I think it's definitely worth doing that, and we can do a tiger swipe as a 0 cost closer. So we'll gain the resource off the transcend. We'll gain the resource. We're going to go ahead and throw the 100 win. We're going to arsenal this chase the tail. Not the worst arsenal given what we've been through. Not with this hand. Chat, you roasting me. Oh man. Still a fucked up outcome for a bad hand. I mean, yeah, like we did. I think we represented like 20 damage off of something that should have done 2. We did okay for ourselves. We did all right. We had to use all the juice. All right, we're gonna go ahead and rip the Zen. Like I said, we can actually. I think we get aspect, play it here off of the 100 wins, gain 2 tigers, and we chase the tail. I'm gonna do that instead. Because this is a much more conditional card than this. So we are going to do it that way, which means I need to play the one from hand first. Although this would be a very weird flesh bag, but hey, more power to him if he wants to make that play. And there's no way to prevent this from happening. And then we play the other one from banish for 3. We want to transcend. That's right. Yeah, Jacob, I got there. I got there. I think aspect's the better play. Simply on the basis that it's well, 1, it's more damage, but 2, breed anger is much less conditional than say chase the tail because you have to have 2 tigers. Also, we now have traverse online, so the next Art of War, the last Art of War that we draw, we can just jam and hopefully try and close the game out. But this is a very good like 2 card 8 weakest link or sin packing or something like that. If he has one in Arsenal or like a CNC for 8, this would be really good here. Or claw for 5. Or claw for 5. Okay. So what are we doing here? Off the rip, the line that kind of hmm, I don't know if this is worth the transcend. I don't even know what I would get or the traverse. I don't think it's worth it. I think we're just gonna hold. How many maulings do we have? Okay, we still have plenty. So we can block here and go will into mauling, but that's kind of inefficient. We could keep the whole hand, go 3, 4, 5. I guess we do that because we're ahead on life. And we just want to pressure before we get to the bellows. Simple as that. You can't quad intimidate if you don't have a hand. And we are going to rely on that. So basically, the math difference on the line here is basically did I want to block 3 or sin 3? Getting flashback here is actually the best thing that could have happened in the game of Flesh and Blood. So we're just going to use the other one. We're going to also Arsenal Mauling, and we good to go. We in there. He intimidated my no block. Please don't have disruption one time. Um, so we can play pass over, pitching the chi. We regain the chi. We gain 2 resources in which we can afford to go get any one cost anything. We haven't even resolved a bond. So we'll go ahead and do I don't want to resolve. I want to play pass over in response. Sorry. This doesn't matter. I guess Blood Rush Bellow. Okay. So then that resolves, gives us another chi, which we go and get what? We have resources we can pay for anything, basically. So what we can do is simply pitch a chi, and we get whatever we want, which I think is just going to be chase the tail, because what we can do is we'll have plenty of resources, and we can go tiger, chase the tail, tiger, tiger, tiger swipe, mauling key. Or tiger, chase the tail, tiger, tiger swipe, tiger, mauling. I think is the line here. Yeah. And we could pay for both of these. We can't swing weapon here, which is unfortunate. But I think we'll be fine. So we go here. Then we'll go chase the tail. If we didn't have to block with our chess piece, we would have actually transcended and gotten 2 resources. We could have gotten the weapon off, which is unfortunate, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. And then here, there's the greedy play and the safe play. I'm going with the safe play. You can play the crouching tiger, then the tiger swipe, but you lose the on hit on the mauling if the tiger swipe doesn't hit, and because he's running cards like sink blow and a bunch of other stuff, I think it's kind of unlikely. So I'm going to go with the safer pick between the two and go ahead and throw the tiger swipe, which will lead to a much more likely hit on the mauling key, which will deal an extra damage. Is kind of my thought process. But I could see the best. I could see like it going either way. Either way is justifiable. I'm just gonna go with this one. But we have tempo. We have no armor. We still have an art of war. We still have 2 harmonies, and we're up. What? Probably 13 life by the end of this. I'm assuming he's gonna block with 1 card. I could be wrong. Yeah, sacred art modes get picked before. Yeah, I realized that when I played it. But thank goodness you can do it the other way. So we get the extra damage here. So we knock down another 3. And now we're up by 14. Wowee. Huh. I mean, to be honest, with him at 4, I think it's okay just, you know, cycling these to the bottom. We're just trying to get cards. Also, I can't produce enough damage to where, you know, there's a situation where I can't force all the cards from his hand. So in this situation, I like just throwing this and it being enough. And also, I'm not open to like CNC or whatever the case may be, or strength rules all. If he has any, there's not any more left. But like sin packings as well, or something to consider. Probably another D react. Yep, but we still leak 1, and it goes to the bottom of the deck. Look at that combo. Triple cheese stack. We love those. Yeah, we're not getting there. We're not getting there. We're not getting to the 3 cheese cycle. There's the bonds. When we don't want them. I really don't care, for being honest. So we haven't seen hardly any descendants. So priority number 1, we need to get this bonds into the arsenal. So what we're going to do is we're just going to block with this. This is the lesser of the two. We're gonna take the damage, and then we're gonna just send our 2 card 6 split up in weird numbers, which has value, believe it or not. If he does not have a D react here, then it's not just a 2 card 6. But I mean, this kind of invalidates it a little bit, but um, actually, I guess it doesn't because now here's 4, and if he blocks just 3, then it leaks. I hate Tiger form. Much prefer Roar of the Tiger. Costs less. Unconditional Tiger. Yellow. It could be, and it pitches for a little bit more. I respect it. We actually won a clash. GG. He has Blood Rush Bellow in his next hand, so we need to push as much damage as we can next turn, which will be very easily done. Clearly. God damn. Really, bro? I finally get a playable Bonds, chat. Gotta be kidding me. Take it. Take the Bonds. Imagine playing Bonds and you can't even resolve them. Okay, so I think this one's straightforward. I think we're going to do breakpoints here. So we're going to send the 4, then the 2, then the 5. Just give those weird numbers. We know he has the Bellow in hand. We need to get that card. Trench it away. I wish. That would be cool. And a 2. That's kind of good. I'm not gonna lie. That's kind of good because now you can give 1 card and Tunic, or just 1 card. I don't know the. Obviously, this is. I don't think he blocked with the Blood Rush Bellow yet, right? So he just has a Bellow in hand, which means he's just gonna claw more than likely, or play the Arsenal, whichever may be the case. Swing big, you say? I think the goal here is just don't die to Reckless, right? Because if we block here, we can go 3, that's 1 card. 2, that's 1 card. We go get any card with Go again. Let's see what we have. We have a spinning wheel kick. We can just grab that. And we can go 4. That's another break point. Then we can go 3. That'll give me a Tiger. Do we have any 0 cost Go again? That would be better. Do we have any? Is levels better than no shot? Okay. So we just do this. Then we just lead. Get a card. I don't even know what's in the deck, if we're being 100% honest. I don't have 100 wins. We do have a blue one. That doesn't really help me. We prefer something 0 cost if possible. The problem is we can't work with an aspect because we have no red 100 wins. Um I mean, we have 2 resources floating, right? So we can just go. I'm trying to remember what's in the deck. Sorry, it's a lot. Chat. I guess just go double descendant because we know we have a red one. Not a break point, but we need. No, what am I thinking? We just get spinning, right? We have 2 resources, but we can't swing weapon. That's the kicker. Which makes the tiger invalid. Which means there's really no difference between a blue 100 wins and interesting. So I'm actually just going to go reach for the blue 100. This is going to get a card. Then we're going to swing weapon. That's going to get a card. Sorry, this is going to get a card. And we specifically do it in this order. We don't swing weapon here because in case he has a bastion, if he blocks this, he still has to block his last card on the weapon. And then we bank the aspect, we draw our hand, and hopefully just kill him. So we could do will kick, but mathematically it's the same thing, right? Because we can't swing weapon. Because we only have 2 resources here. So we can't weapon and swing the 4. Just go ahead and get the last card. That's fine. So then we preserve. We get anything that swings for 4. Actually, we just get our bonds target, whatever we want that to be. Which is going, we have a bonds here. So if we put we already have another bonds. I'm way overthinking this. I think he's dead, but let's go ahead and put a. Let's do a spinning. This is just what's going back into the deck. Then we activate Zen. We get our descendant. We go descendant, which has 4, has the breakpoint. Ons. This deck's a lot on stream. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like the past 2 turns have just been a blur. uh, Here I think we just get. We want to swing weapons, so we'll just get another 100 wins. I guess doesn't really matter. Okay. So yeah, aspect wasn't live. Okay, so that's an example of like what can go wrong. Uh, we saw the situation where I had to dump everything in those Art of Wars and everything. So that's a great example of what could happen, and it was a rough one. Sorry, I got a little deep in that last one. Okay, let's do it again. Ooh, so many options while on stream. Looking at chat, it's a lot. It is a lot. Okay, we have a new. This is a good one. Let's go ahead and put those snags in. I don't think flick flack is really that necessary. For being honest. I do not want levels of enlightenment played on me, so I will take those out in lieu of snag. That's what we'll do. Let's roll with that, see what happens. Yeah, you still want. I mean, you know, we found a way. We found a way. If you blocked with the red, you could not have gone whelming bonds. This is an interesting one because I want to fill the graveyard. I don't want to fill the banished zone. So we're just gonna block 3. We know he's probably gonna go over, and that's fine. But I think these cards are just a little too valuable in this matchup. Well, this is kind of good. So what we can do is we can do 100 wins here. And then what we'll do is we'll proceed to break the chain. And then we'll go weapon swing, descendant, bonds, go get another 100. I guess we'll break the chain now. I said it, but didn't do it. He's taking damage, so we're just going to reach for as much damage as we can push. Also, block with Black Tech Whispers is something that we need to keep note of in our mind on what could possibly be coming. So 4-card hand, and we produced what? 13, 14, 15 on the 3-card hand? Or 4-card hand? We take those. We take those. Okay, so here, pretty standard stuff. If I have to block, this is the first thing that I'll block with. Block down priority is we want to go Arsenal, block, weapon swing into this. That's kind of what we're looking at, but also may simply not give us that opportunity depending on what is happening. Take the spider bite because, okay, yeah, bonds. Okay. So bonds is an interesting one. And especially in this scenario, because if they get the bonds, that is so bad. But then again, we already used one, right? Already used one. They hit me. Laying down the hand in this situation is actually not good because the cards that we would want to lay down, what, 3, 2, and 2? So it's blocking 7. This definitely gets higher than 7 for sure with 2 cards. And we have Spider Bite. So I think we're just gonna eat it. We're just gonna. That's fine. Probably rip the bonds here if I had to guess. Sure. Yep. I'm just gonna send 4 here. That makes that card a lot worse. We draw our first transcend card. This has no text, so the problem with this is it's very transparent that they just really want to give this go again, or they have a bunch of pumps. Either way, uh, what I think's gonna happen here is we're gonna see like a hiss into a codex is what I'm expecting. So we just have to take this. We have no real choice. Yep. Okay, eradicate is an interesting one. I think we're safe from pumps here. The only thing that can there's one counter. So this could get a lot of cards if we're being 100% honest. We do have the ability to go ahead and transcend here, which is important. Not only that, but the card that we would be transcending is, kind of important as well. So we obviously want to try and get the Artivore into Arsenal. And then also, if we transcend, we have the ability to basically put them on a better habit situation. And we can transcend, gain a resource. Then, yeah, I really want to transcend. We get the Tiger. We can do +2. Play. We can get like Tiger Swipe. That's fine. It's a fine pick. Um, we can even get a 1 call, so we can get a Mauling Key here. Yeah. The problem is we need to be as well. The Tiger will get that, so that's fine. Yeah, we're just gonna do this. Go with it. And we're gonna try to kill him on the next turn. Is our goal. Yeah, they're probably gonna get a lot of meals here. Yep. There's the hiss. They're gonna arsenal the slither, which is important to remember. Look at all those juicy cards. Artivore, snag, send it. Okay. Could have been worse. Could have been worse, but pretty good for them. So we're gonna go here and we're gonna say buff power. And then we're going to Rising Moon. We are going to put that right back down. We would like to gain a resource. We would like to activate Zen. And we would like to get Mauling. Crouching into Mauling. So we manipulated into a 2-card 7 off of 2 blues, which is pretty good. We take it. Could be a 2-card 8. And then we just need to hope that they don't have a codex and they've blocked with 2 leave no witnesses or played. And a CNC. So kind of, it's likely that we won't have to defend the Art of War too terribly much. The fact that they're taking that is scaring the shit out of me. So we're just going to block or Arsenal this and hope they don't have it. They can do anything but rip my hand apart. If they play anything that's like that, don't give a shit. Yep, you got it. In fact, this is going to have go again to the Slytherin Arsenal. And then there could be something that we worry about after. Yep. And then what we're going to do on whatever comes after, we're just going to jam the whole equipment suite. This is great because our ancestral harmony would have missed. So, okay, here's the bonds. So we look at what is the max that it could get to, and that would be. It does say this chain link, so there has to be 3 reactions right here. So you can go black tech into venomous bite is like the max that it could get to. And if that does happen, then we get to what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we get to 8 if it's exactly a red venomous. So we could jam our armor and successfully stop. We also have the advantage of any one card in our hand doesn't completely. Justin Nick doesn't turn on the effect. All I care about is the effect, right? Because if they play Justin Nick, then that's only 2 reactions. That's not the third. So I don't care about Justin Nick. That's kind of irrelevant. So I think this is just a situation where I don't think it's actually that much. I don't think that they're actively going to get the trigger here. I'm more worried about Mask, if I'm being honest with you. But do we have an extra card that we can afford to get rid of? And I think the answer might be yes. I don't know if we need this Gus wave. We are kind of lacking on bonds because of the first one. We have a couple blue bonds, but that's really it. So this Gus wave might not just be necessary. So we could do a block somewhere along the lines of this. And this bite gets to 8. And then we get wrecked. We don't need Gus for Art of War because we can harmony into. If we're, I mean, we'll keep it, but we could play harmony transcend really quick, and then banish the tiger. But I do like the ability of having a backup plan if we need something. So we'll just jam the armor. We'll just do that. Doing it this way does help us with the fact that we're gonna go ahead and harmony first. We banished our 3rd harmony. Great. Okay. So we will. We're not really gonna use this. I guess we should use max information. We should go ahead and homage here. And then Art of War, pitching chi to banish the buff. We pick crouching. Okay. Now we have the ability to go get whatever we want. Plus a tiger, which turns on mauling, which means we can go bonds. And I think we can just double bonds here. Although there'll be blue bonds, but like, what can you do? So let's do that. Let's go ahead and reach in. We are going to get, I think we should have 2 blue bonds. We do. Okay, so we have 2 blue bonds. Okay, so now we have a whole extra one of these, which is great. And we have a crouching tiger. So we can wait to play those at the end. So let's go ahead and go Descendant. Good thing we didn't block with our Descendant. Bonds. Banish the 1 red bonds we have in our grave to get another bonds. To then go Descendant into bonds. And more importantly, we want to get a 0 cost here. Preferably. 100 wins is perfect. Then we go 5 into what? 1, or we're gonna swing weapon, and then it'll be 2, and then it'll be 7. Be 2, yep, and then it should be 7 on the mauling, which is hidden information as well. That's a very important thing to keep in mind. Uh, Good healthy break point, going to get 2 cards or at least 1 card. And then at 1 with a 2-card hand and no arsenal to disrupt, I think we are in a decent spot. Yep, you got it. You got it. You still got it. Okay. Here we're just gonna go spinning wheel kick into aspect, get the tiger, and then we'll go weapon swing into tiger. Should get the whole hand and win. All right. So like that's what the deck can do. That's what the deck can do. But you notice like it was really about you have like one turn against new. You have one opportunity to really just push it in and get that value. If you try to do the whole 2-card 8 thing, you're gonna lose that every single time because they're gonna rip your blue, and you're like that one turn where I had to like pitch my red to swing 4 on my spinning wheel kick, like that ain't gonna cut it, right? But almost 13 and a half value through multiple sets of disruption. Right? We had what, 2 bonds, we had leave no witnesses, we had a lot of stuff. So uh pretty pretty happy about that. Let me go ahead and update the win loss thing. Okay. So I think that's like a much better example of what it can be. So what we'll do now is we have somebody that wants to play a Riptide game. So we will do that. Copy link. Send here. Okay. Yeah, I should have played Grains. You're 100% right, chat. You're 100% right. 100% right. I should have. I should have. That card's good, I heard in this match. So we will use it. It's equally as clunky as that one. So no real opportunity calls there. Yeah, we did give up value on the Grains though. 100%. 100%. Yeah, Jacob, I thought about jamming everything but Shuko, but the problem is at that point, if he has any one cost reaction at that point when I did that, he just gets my hand, right? So I really don't want to do that. So please attack me and fill my graveyard. One time. I'm here for some Vinet gaming. Okay. We can play a game right after this. Okay. So it just turns out that this is the exact same hand as last time. So we're going to do the exact same play. We're going to play the 100 wins. We're going to break the chain. We're going to go descendant bonds and then get that 100 wins. Big old one. All right. So we have our remorses, which is a obviously very important arrow that we definitely care about. I guess the real question becomes, can we actively kill through it? And it's an honest question, right? Um so this is a much trickier kind of spot than it kind of leads on to be because if I take this, then necessarily they don't have to commit the remorseless. It's kind of like an option that they have, which is a spot. But really, my number one goal right now is to simply transcend. That is what I'm trying to accomplish. And so we're gonna just take this rain, sure. Bolton shot would be like the perfect hand if he has it. If you just loaded a Bolton shot, it'd be like, yeah, okay, the perfect hand. um, so we do not care about the on hit here because it just doesn't do anything because he has to pitch for remorseless anyway. Um, okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna play this for buff power, and then we'll go ahead and do this for you know no particular reason. We'll knock that back down. We would like to gain a resource. We would then like to Zen. Okay, so far we have lost one life from remorseless, and we will end up losing two more. So the on hit was basically a little bit better blood rot, which is pretty good. Pretty good. We'll get the mauling here, and we'll just go crouching into mauling. Is the game plan. This does get the +2 from the captain's call, so it didn't go to waste. It actually does get some value. Not as much as we would want, right? Like we were hoping for a little bit more, but it do be like that. And then basically with the I do not like the draw blue card, if that's what you're talking. The 4 cost draw 3 cards if you pitch a cheat. I'm not a fan of that one. Okay, so we got some blocks. I'm fine with that. And then what we're gonna do is just simply arsenal this. And if we draw anything that's resemblance a good hand, we probably just get there. Depending on what we see here. We don't really care about frailty too much. Drill shot. Okay. Well, I think we just jam the whole thing, right? Just go 7 on 7. We get Chi, we get the Tiger for the Art of War fodder. And we have natural bonds. Even a collapsing trap here is laughable because he's gonna let me draw 8 cards from my deck. So, you know, if that's what you want to do, I'm more than happy to. Um so in this situation we have bonds, so we can actually use this as like our pitch card, right? Because this is obviously going to the hero ability. But first I need to see what I draw off this Art of War to properly kind of analyze what I'm going to be doing. Um, so let's go ahead and play the Art of War, and we will banish the Tiger. We're not worried about having a way to turn on Mauling because we're going to activate Zen, so it doesn't really particularly matter because we'll have another way to get. Um, we'll have another way to get more. Um, Okay, for this one, it's kind of interesting because we're starting to get into the territory of where we need to afford to pay for things. So in this situation, I'm actually going to elect to keep the Gust Wave, and I'm just going to Art of War getting rid of the CNC. Because once again, I need to operate off of full information. Okay, so now we kind of have what I would consider our full information. Okay. So this one's pretty easy. What we can do is we can go Descendant. That's going to cost me a resource. Then we're going to Zen. We're going to go get a Bonds. And then we'll Bonds getting another Bonds. And then we'll play, which means we have to pitch this guy, which will then turn this guy on. And we'll get all 3 modes. We'll still have a Tiger. And we can get like 100 wins off the second Bonds. Okay, so that's our game plan. We're just gonna go here. And like I said, if he has collapsing trap here, it's like, oh no, that's like the worst thing on the planet. It's really not, because what's gonna happen is I'm gonna respond with Zen, and the extra Tiger that goes into hand is like your -1. So really, collapsing trap against Zen when you can have a Tiger in hand just says it just deletes the Tiger, right? It gives you random cards, yes. But like that's kind of the idea. So we're gonna go get bonds. We're gonna play bonds. We're gonna use bonds to go get a bonds. Okay. And then now that we have, so this is a very important sequencing step, right? So we have the bonds that we can use anytime this chain link, and we're not going to break the chain doing this. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play our levels of enlightenment here. So that way we can make it, we have all 3 modes turned on. We have 3 blue pitch in the zone. And now we have just like more information on what we want to do, right? We might want to use that card, we might not, whatever the case may be. Um, and then so I think that's just gonna be our arsenal target. I don't see any real reason to reach for that card when nothing has like threatened anything yet. So there's no reason to we get 100 wins here because it just fits the curve. Then we go 100, which gets the chest. Okay. And then it would be Tiger for what? 2, and then Mauling for 7, which would be 8 because it would hit. So it was 10 more damage on top of that. So we overkilled by 10 in that situation. Is Captain Call more damage than Blue Predatory Strike? I believe so, because basically what happens is if Predatory Streak put the card in your hand, it could be better than Captain's Call. I like Captain's Call more because I have a more decisive way to assign value to it. Okay, Vinet player, I'm gonna send you a link. Please hop in fast so we don't keep people waiting. Sending you the link now. Let me find your name. Okay, here's the Vinet player. Pan pawns. You ended up with 2 floating. No, I did not, because I had to pay the 1 for the Descendant and then 1 for the Mauling key. Okay, Vinet player. Basically, where this match derived from was after I posted my tier list, there were a couple Vinet players in the purple Fab Discord that strongly disagreed with my placement, and I asked them if they wanted to show me something new, or see if you know I'm open to being wrong. Like, I have no qualms of being wrong. I've never not admitted when I was wrong. But off of what I've seen, I just I don't see it. But I would love to we have a lot of blues. We actually get value from Null Rune in a lot of situations, so I think I will run the gloves in this circumstance. Okay. We ball. Okay, banishing Funeral Moon, really good start. You get basically to play it, and that guarantees you 3 rune chance on your first actual turn, which basically means you can play pretty much anything in the deck, which means yeah, like, good start. Good start. Okay, that's a very strong start to get 2 rune chance, an arsenal, and incantation. That's probably like the best you could do for turn 0. So let's see what we can do. And we have the old quad blue, if you will. The good thing about this hand is we do get to get our transcend early, which allows us to this bonds doesn't really do anything. So I think what we're gonna do is go here. Pitching this because it doesn't have text right now. We're gonna go ahead and transcend. Do we want to gain a resource? I guess the answer would be yes. And we're actually not going to play the bonds because it's basically just a 0 for 2 in this situation. I'd rather extract more value from it at a later time. And I'm not worried about it breaking my arsenal because we've already transcended. I can go get the chi if I need it. So there's real no opportunity cost there. So let's go ahead and activate this. We have 3 floating, so we can fit in a weapon swing plus a mauling key. Sounds like the most straightforward option. And then arsenal the bonds. So that's what we're going to do. We will get that as our line. I really wish this was red, but you know, it'd be like that sometimes. Thoughts on Breed Anger? That double Art of War turn is much more damage as Mauling Key and into Enigma Tiger. Yep. I think it blocks 3 is the reason why I like Breed Anger. I know it's situational, but I am a fan of the card personally. And we throw that tiger for 1. And we throw the key for 5. So if this hits, it will be a what? 3 card 11 situation on a 4 blue hand. 3 card 11 on a 4 blue hand? Okay. We take those. We take those. Not giving us the value. Okay. I am okay with that. Arsenal. This hand blocks. Okay. We obviously can't stop the rune chant, right? And this is the banish from hand. Yeah, this is the banish from hand if we've lost life. So what we're forced into doing here, it's very, very unfortunate. But what we have to do is literally AB1 twice, block 6 is our only line because after this resolved or after it breaks the chain, um, we literally get screwed. So we want to pitch our 2 block, obviously. That's pretty self-explanatory. Or pitch our two blocks. So we'll go here. So quite the brick, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it work. Then we'll just block 6. And then you won't get the banish on me. And we prevent the rune chant generation. It's not optimal, but it's the best that we could do. In this situation, I would be very, very concerned about this rune chant generation, but because he has 2 incantations, it doesn't like he can get to 4 and he just played an annihilation, so I only get screwed if he has another annihilation, basically. Is the only way I get hard punished by giving him that rune chant specifically. That's already loaded up. That's fine. Hopefully, no go against sources gained, but we will see. We will see. All right, we drew 4 reds again. These 4 block better, but yeah. And what I predicted happened. Giving him the 4th rune chant did allow this play, which is unfortunate. But is there any way out of because if we block with these red bonds, my arsenal becomes that much worse. It becomes literally horrendous. What we do have the ability to do is just banish the card from hand, block with our traverse. See, that's not even that good. It's not even that good. Yeah, like two back to back all reds. So our first hand was all blues, second one was all reds, third one was all reds. So here, I hate to say it, but we're actually just gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna preserve one bonds, block with one bonds. I should have actually, yeah, we want to block with these two, so we have more options in the grave on the bonds. We get hard punished by a flash in of Mavrian Skies, which is very likely here. Obviously, they have the full hand. It's very likely, but I have to block here, or they get the banish out of my hand, which is what we obviously don't want. But fully expect. Okay, just a pass of the turn. So, once again, we bricked. What has basically happened is over the past two turn cycles, we have hard bricked. Our life has went down by what, two, maybe three, and their life has went down by one. So if we can maintain this situation while our hand is bricking, when we get the gas, we're going in. Bounding is not a scary card for me. Widespread destruction is. Okay, so this will blow up my arsenal, which is not the end of the world because it's a blue bonds of ancestry. Um, so like it's just not that bad. So in this situation, what I think I'm going to do is take it. I'm going to let him have the arsenal. It's his. He earned it. We know we don't have to worry about anything on the following turn because uh, this this card in arsenal was not utilized on the prior turn, so it's very unlikely that he'll be able to. Can't he can tunic creepers and read the runes, but if that was the case, he probably would have did it last turn. So probably this is just going into the banish zone. Well, he didn't take damage, so I think this is just it for the turn. So we're just gonna block with traverse to get our bonds. It's gonna coincide with the descendant. Okay. So we have now stabilized basically. After breaking two hands, we have one that is functional, good. And yeah, we will go with Ineth, basically, is our idea. What we're going to do is we're actually going to lead with levels of enlightenment, is the idea. We know we're going to get bonds off of the chi. We know this, right? And then while this is on the stack, we're going to go ahead, hit the chi, right? And that's going to give us two modes. We're going to go and get bonds because we know we have descendant. Now, the question is, we won't go again and draw a card, but what are we going to get off of the rip, right? Okay, so that's what we got. Some of this is playable, some of this is not, but I have a way to make this hand work. And it's because of our blocking choices prior in the game. We made a specific point to block with that aspect of Tiger Body. So now our line becomes we deal this 3 damage. Then we're going to Descendant, go down to 1 resource. Then we're going to Bonds. We're going to go get Body. We're going to play it on the Bonds, get a second Tiger. Then we're going to go Tiger, Chase the Tail, Tiger, Arsenal, Breed Anger is our line. So we will execute that line. And we still have our boots for whenever we acquire our Art of War. We still have the ability um, to kind of lean on that banish, if you will. Okay, we go and get the aspect here. We go aspect. That gives us a second tiger. Play the tiger. We go chase the tail tiger. So we were able to stabilize on the double brick. You could call it a quad brick, but the 4 blue actually did something of value. Um, and now we're able to get ahead in life total. They have 2 cards in the banish zone, uh, which is great for us. That basically applies urgency on their end that they need to start being more aggressive, which is good for us, which means they're not going to block, which means we get them down to that trading aspect at low life, which Vincent historically just does not win. So the thought on Null Rune is simply the deck runs a lot of blues, and if they don't make the damage unpreventable, you can actually stop a lot of their on-hit effects. A more traditional ninja only runs 15 to 18 blues. This deck runs like 27 or something like that. So it actually there's a lot of opportunities where you can actually AB and it actually just makes sense. This is a hand of cards. About to show them what 1,000 wins is. I hope he didn't play a shadow card. I wasn't paying attention. Yep. We don't want to block. Not this anyway. How often would you say you're transcending within? How hard is it to achieve? I would say that I've been transcending easily. Are you still there, bro? It's on you. You might need to refresh. There it goes. But yeah, I mean, you run what, like 8 transcend cards on average, 7 to 8. So like, it's we're about to quad it. We quadding. Yep. This is actually interesting here, right? Because I never, 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 never let these hit. However, with that being said, we are giving up. Is this exponential or no? No, it's to be 1, then 4, then 5, then 6. Which means never gets us a 6. So giving this up is the equivalent of 6 damage. This on hits for okay, so we have to keep it. We're just keeping it. I do not like giving this many rune chance, but it's just what the hand does. And we have to we got to do it. I know you're thinking, "Oh, but then he gets to play the eulogy." Well, that was going to happen anyway because of vexing. They get to keep the vexing, which is like really good for them, but like it didn't change anything that I was trying to do basically. Here we're just going 100, 100, hundreds, transcend, pitch the chi, and then go get another 100, play it with the extra resource from the transcend. We're going to yeet breed anger. That is our play. Why is that our play? Because there's two more of these going around. Simple as that. I would say that we're a little bit behind, but given the fact that we bricked 2 to 3 turns in a row, I think we're in a pretty okay spot. And they got the hot start, right? The hot start. Be honest, is Zen really that crazy? I mean, I think he's a good deck. I don't know. Then we go get another 100. Where you at? There you are. We go 100. 0 for 6. And this tiger doesn't actually do anything because we don't want it, so we're just going to send the breed anger and we're going to arsenal the tiger for the following turn. We don't have Shuko or anything like that, so it doesn't actually extract any. We haven't swung weapon, anything like that. So okay. We have a couple options here. Create 2 tigers. They get +1, but we can only do. Wait, so we can actually transcend without playing a blue first, right? Because it says choose one and transcends one of the options. So we can actually do this, gain the resource from the transcend, go get any. That doesn't seem as good as just like pushing solid damage. Um, sorry, I'm thinking this is a tough one. I can transcend here. But what am I grabbing? We get the one resource from the transcend, which means we can play this. We can get a 0 cost, so we can get like an aspect or something like that. But what does that do for me? Is the question. I don't know the answer to that question. So therefore, we just have to send that and an arsenal that for a transcend on the following turn. Let's do that. So let's go here. Because we're at low life, we are going to send the wheel kick and the weapon and the tiger swipe and then arsenal. This one is our goal. The reason that we chose to pitch this one over this one is this is more conditional, this is less conditional. And we're at a life total where we're really about to start making trades here. So I don't want to be conditional. Simple as that. So we're going to swing the weapon for 2. Get that chip damage in little by little. We still have a little bit of armor. We still have not seen of Art of War. We haven't seen of Ancestral Harmony. We like the most exciting thing we've done is 400 wins. That's it. That's the most exciting thing we've done. Um, okay, and then assuming I have a bonds, this just wins the game. 1 bonds, 2 bond. Yeah, we have bonds. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and do this to see what we get. Ooh. Bonds gets that. We got the resource off the transcend. So we can go chi into bonds. Bonds gets chase the tail, aspect, tiger, chase the tail, tiger, monkey. Yeah, this game. Um, we go get the bonds. We play the bonds. With the bonds, we could chase the tail. Uh oh, we don't have any chase the tail. Sheesh, my bad. I guess we get the next best thing. I guess we get our Mullen key. Whoops. There's a line where you could have presented 11-7-9 with the transcend arsenal a tiger. Never mind. Observe could bring back the chase. Yeah, you're right, Pat. You're right. You're right. You're right. I think this is better in Arsenal actually than a tiger. Believe it or not, because I still have the chess piece up, so I can gain a resource. This just gets the hand though, and we're back in the same situation where I know the Arsenal's not a playable card because it's been there forever. He's blocked down 2 hands in a row, and we just eventually get there on chip damage, basically. What ends up happening. Yep. Just like this, this allows us to be like super greedy with the ancestrals, right? We can just flip, see if we hit something. If we miss, we could play the other one and still transcend, gain the resource, and play the whole hand out. In this situation, though, I don't think there's any reason to really be greedy, though. So we're just gonna go ahead and transcend here and keep the blue. We're gonna activate the chi. We're gonna go get another spinning wheel kick. And then we're gonna use those to play all of those. So we go spinning for 5, spinning for 5, weapon for 2, or tiger or whatever. We win the game. That's all I know. Then we have the Maul Key after for another 6. It doesn't have the on hit effect. I'll do one more because I like Rune Blade. I'll give you a shot. I'll give you one more. Could start again. We're just gonna get some graveyard feel. Really terrible hand, but we're just gonna fill our graveyard, wait for a transcend, traverse, go with Art of War. The one thing about this matchup specifically is you cannot sit on that Art of War because you have the unpreventable damage in association with the widespread destruction. So normally in a normal game where I wasn't constrained in any way, I would simply sit on the Art of War, wait till I transcend, block with the helmet, go in, right? Like that's like the normal kind of situation. However, against this deck, it's kind of like, do I have a good hand? All right, let's go ahead and play it kind of situation because they can just say, look, we're going to make this damage unpreventable and then yeah, go from there. Sure. Please pass. Like I mean, this is kind of good, right? Like not bad, not bad. That's a good card. He gets to get a second one out. I mean, that's pretty much what Vincent wants, right? So this has a lot of value, and we're gonna take the rune chance 100%. No questions asked. You earned them. But now blocking on the Mauve with no way to play a Rune Gate card. The problem is basically it sets them up the next turn for whatever they want. The bigger problem is I don't have a good hand to block with. Simple as that. So I think given the situation with the Art of War, like I said, you kind of can't pick and choose your situations here. What I'm going to do is block with my boots and just go. Right? We have a solid enough hand where I think we can just go. Simple as that. We're gonna give them the rune chance, which is unfortunate, but once again, I don't think the only card when they have double incantation, the only card that you're allowing them to cast that they wouldn't cast otherwise is Annihilation. That's the only one, and they're just gonna rip it anyway. Which I should have thought about and probably blocked with the boots there. But what can you do? What can you do? Slight misplay there, but we're committed. We're committed. We are running the bonds package. That is correct. Okay, let's go and rip it. Okay, let's see what we have here. Nothing like particularly crazy. I would say I really wish we had a transcend that would make this hand absolutely nuts, but it's still good. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm not complaining by any means. But it just could be better, you know? So we're just gonna go. Mm. Throw a spinning again for 6. And then we actually have a choice here. And it's extremely valid choice, right? Like we could pitch bonds to get one more value out of Art of War, right? Um, by playing levels of enlightenment and then drawing a card, right? So we're doing 4 more damage and then drawing a card. Or we pitch levels of enlightenment to swing the weapon for 2 and then arsenal guaranteed bonds. So the math breakdown becomes, is giving up 2 value worth guaranteeing your arsenal as a bonds? Is basically what it boils down to. And because we haven't transcended, I think it's not. I think it's actually incorrect to swing weapon and arsenal bonds. I'm going to swing levels and then draw the card because I just need ways to transcend. I need to get this hat online ASAP so that way bonds becomes a good card, right? That's what we're actively trying to do. So we're going to just swing levels. I guess you could also do plus, right? That's like not the worst thing on the planet. But I think draw a card is probably the better choice in 90% of scenarios. So Tiger Swipe, that's of course a perfectly fine arsenal target. Wowza. Okay, did we play any? We had 3 rune chants. So what we can do is actually AB. Okay. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna seize tempo here or concede it, I guess. Yeah, I'm actually just going to do this and block 6. Keep the arsenal. Hand didn't do that much. Now the question is, what can they do with it? Is the question. We still have yet to transcend. That's the most important aspect, if I'm not mistaken. Right, because we just played the Art of War, right? We didn't actually transcend. Okay. Widespread is fine, but it does have mauve. So there's 0 chance that we're blocking the arcane. So we'll let that go on through. And now we ask ourselves, do we want to block the widespread? And it does have go again. The rune chants don't necessarily mean anything directly because there's nothing in banish zone. However, if this hits and he closes the chain and he banishes a rune gate, he will have enough to play it even if he has to pop vexing. So I think in this situation, the hand's not we do have a natty bonds combo. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a solid hand. But like. I don't know if we win the game by simply just doing that. Multiple cards in hand. So I'm gonna be 100%. I hate doing this. It feels so wrong, and it could end up losing me the game. But also at the same time, the clock is winding down faster than I thought. I didn't think it would take this long to transcend. So I'm gonna give up my hat at no value but two. It feels so bad. Um, but I'm just going to do this to stop the rune chant generation. This is fine. Yeah, Pat, I'm not excited about that play by any means. But the way that I look about it is I'm at 19. Yes, I'm about to push some damage and whatnot. But like I have to draw my hand the next turn while I'm at 19, play my hand out. I have to transcend, which means I have to take a bunch of damage. So now I'm at like 10, 8, and hoping that I've transcended if I draw the transcend on the following turn. And then the next turn, I have to live, keep my hand, traverse, and go on. So I do agree, Pat, that it's rough, but at the same time, I honestly question if there's enough runway to pull it off. I honestly question it. Ew, brother. What's that? What's that, brother? Brother, ugh. We've been having too much fun with that in the Discord. But this is a pretty simple line. We're just gonna get aspects so we can play that. Like I said, I don't like sitting on arsenals for too long in this matchup, but we can do this, play the tiger, which turns on the tiger swipe. We don't get any like actual value from the tiger, but we just get to do the stop being a dribbler. Does that not sound logical that you're at 19? They have more than enough health to just take everything I'm throwing, because what I'm throwing is not like actually the most threatening. On the next turn, I have to draw both a blue and a transcend card and be able to play both of them. So I have to meet that condition. And then the following turn, I have to be a high enough life total to keep my hand and actually get value. I don't know that that happens. Whereas in that situation, I guarantee extract two more value from it because I prevent the rune chant situation. So I'm not happy about it, but wait, that's wrong. We swing weapon, then tiger swipe. But like I'm not happy about it, but like I hate to say it, but I think it was the right play. I could be wrong. I'm open to being wrong. I think that's the first time I've ever blocked with traverse before transcending. So if I lose the game, then maybe that's a sign. maybe that's it. We will see. We will see. See, I still have not drawn my transcend card, right? So I don't know. Brother. Ugh. Am I banking everything on this Art of War? Because we can obviously play the Tiger Form incantation, and we can banish the the tiger to draw 2 more cards. And then following that, we have a backup of drawing another card if we have the ability to transcend to regain the tiger. The problem is if we don't draw any tiger generation, this card was worth literally 0. So in that situation, what I'm going to elect to do is go on the defensive. I'm going to leak 1 because I'm not going to give up the Art of War for 1 fucking damage. But so we'll take this one. We'll block 6 on the 6. Prevent the red mauve, which fucking hurts. And then we'll Arsenal the Art of War. I think is the correct way to go about it. Yes, you get 2 rune chance. 3 rune chance, sorry. So still an unfortunate spot, but that hand just did not do enough to warrant like really pushing. See, we finally can transcend. Like if we have traverse here, right? We have no tempo. We're about to eat. I hope Vincent can deal 12 damage, right? So now we're at 15 or we're at 5. And then we have to block with traverse to get a chi. And then hopefully have the hand to use it. Like, I think blocking with traverse was kind of good there. Just saying. We're definitely in a rough spot here because this is like a lot of damage. But we can't. We have to go, go, go. This is I'm going to try to kill you next turn. Please don't kill me. That's all this is. If you got it, ball out. What you got? Close the chain, creepers in. What? Creepers, yep. What are you creepers in? Okay, it has go again. Bounding. We have to take this. We have to take this. We have to take this. We cannot take this. Which means we have to block wind chakra. Because we're gonna harmony into transcend, get the tiger, pitch the blue, banish the tiger, and pray we get gas. I mean that's all we can do. We have to hit on everything. We have to hit on the harmony right here. Like absolutely just have to. We did. We also have to get a decent like we're putting a card from the graveyard to the bottom. We need a bonds in there. I don't think we're ever going to like double bonds or anything like that. So I guess we need to see what we have like less of kind of situation. I guess like aspect because we have several. Yeah, we'll just do that. We'll put aspect on the bottom. I don't know. We don't gain the resource. So then we have to do this, which means we can get our bonds that we are about to lose. Get our bonds. Then we play our Art of War, pitching the other bonds. So we still have our combo lined up. We get rid of the Crouching Tiger and hope we draw goods. We drew the goods. So we go Ascendant, Bonds. Bonds gets Descendant. Then we bonds again for a 0 cost. We don't get to play the spinning wheel kick, but fuck it. It is a blue. That kind of hurts. That hurts a little bit. That hurts a little bit. I wish we had one more resource. Okay, we have to actually think. We just have to rip cards. Like that's the name of the game, right? Is we just want to absolutely just rip cards. All we want to do. So when we play this bonds, we of course can get a 0 cost, right? Like so we're sending 5, so this guarantees 1 card. With this being our options, we can get 100 wins. I guess this just kind of solves it for us because we put the aspect on the bottom. Aspect could have been what 4, so we lost the damage by putting the aspect on the bottom. Um, I thought we had played more than one. Oh, we banished that one. That's where my mindset was. Okay, I thought we played 2, so I was putting one on the bottom to keep it in the rotation, but clearly not. So this is just straightforward. We just get the 100, we get 100, and we play it for another 4. So we get Vincent down to a 2-card hand, and us have an arsenal, and we get to say, "Look, what you got," right? Because this requires one more card, or well, not necessarily. So we got them down to 2, and then they're on a 2-card hand. Which okay, so they can like room gate a 2 cost is what we're looking at here, which I think is fine because we have no rune specifically, and we have an arsenal. Okay, widespread ruin for 6. So we can take the 2. We have the ability to take the 2. And then we can block 6. That is our literal only line. So we take it. We take it. CPAT, we never ever get the traverse value. I really don't think we would have. I really don't. So here, obviously, we're blocking with Chase the Tail. That is a dream, right? That's never happening. So, and then we only have one other option. So it doesn't matter what the line is. That's just the choice we have to make, right? So here we go. Really, really good line here that I think just rips the entire hand. No matter what. I think that's actually a really good banish for me because I do not want to draw that card. So here I think it's pretty simple. We just swing here for 2, then we go 4, then we go 3, then we go 1. And it's all these weird numbers. We get every card out of their hand. And Vincent gets on the back foot. And when Vincent gets on the back foot, we know what happens. We know what happens. All I'm saying is it doesn't get pretty. It doesn't get pretty, right? And there's the 3 that no matter what's in the okay, so that's just game because the tiger comes in from 1 from the weapon and it is lethal. GG. GG. All right. So maybe Nico, you can go amend what you put in the purple Discord a little bit. Um, you know, Vinset's not bad. I just think there's simply better decks. Simple as that. I can't put everything in A or B tier or yeah. It just is what it is. So um yeah, what time we got? 10:30. I want to talk to chat for a little bit. I want to talk. So Pat, let me know. Be 100% real with me. Give me the honest truth, Pat. Was the traverse block good? I think it won me the game. Me personally, I think it won me the game. I know it's results oriented because I didn't know I wasn't going to draw the traverse or the transcend card, but like mathematically, I think like it is. It is. Um. So let me. I just want to talk to chat for a little bit. So we went over. Let me bring up the me button. I mean, you won the game, so I mean that's a good thought process. Good thought process. Um, I don't think I would have made that play. Don't tell me if you would have made it. Just tell me if it was right, Pat. Oh man. Okay, so we played a Reinar, and we got that one. We played a new, and we got that one. The Reinar one was kind of close because we had like 3 bricks in a row, and then the new one we waited for our opening and we got in there, right? And then the third game we played against a Riptide. I think Zen is just faster mathematically because of bonds and yeah. So and then we played 2 Vinset games in where the first one, like I was like I bricked, and then finally hit the gas and went. And we got both of those. We did a rematch on that. So we went 5-0 tonight on Zen just to give a little showcase of what the deck can do. I think it's a good I think it's a good hero. Simple as that, right? Um and yeah, if you have any questions, if anybody wants to throw anything in chat, throw it in there right now. I'd love to answer it. We can talk meta, we can talk Zen, we can talk whatever the case may be. I am open to discuss anything. Also, um, this will be the last stream before Nats. I will be traveling on Wednesday. Wednesday is my travel day. I like to get in there a couple, um, a couple days early, so there'll be no stream next week on Wednesday, and we'll make up the following after after Nats, not naps, maybe both. Hopefully with some good news after nationals. It was probably the right play. I just don't think I could have pulled the trigger. I would have probably blocked 2 cards that turn. Is probably super disciplined. Yep. Yep. I knowing what we know now, it was 100% the right play, but I'm having trouble analyzing whether like, in hindsight was it the correct play. I just thought I looked at the play and I was like I just really thought I did not have the runway to get that chi. And it turns out that was the case. Um But that's why we play the game of flesh and blood, right? It's spots like that where something just against every fiber of your being, it feels so wrong to do something, but it can just be right. I don't know. Maybe I just gambled and got paid off. All right, we got some questions rolling in. Am I running pouncing key? I am not. I am not. I'm not running anything super secret. It's basically Pudding's list from our show match, changed like 5 cards. It's nothing like a revolutionary. Do you have your list somewhere? I liked a lot of the picks. Like I said, I'll just show it on screen real quick. like I said, it's like super. I think I took his list. I took out Drop in the Ocean and the Draw one, put in 2 Captain's Calls. I made that swap. And then I changed Pouncing Key into 3 more bonds. I think that is literally all I changed from Pudding's list. That is it. Other than that, it's just what Pudding ran in the show match on the Card Guys YouTube channel. Simple as that. Get that out of the way. I genuinely have no idea what deck to play in this meta. I usually play Warrior. This meta says no. Might make a full swap to Levia or KO. Or sorry, I don't know if Mansant's watching. Lavia. Um, I think that Warrior is in a very, very rough spot right now. I think that what existed prior in the meta is no longer there. I think there will be some KO. I don't think it'll be as much. And I just don't think that, you know, that's the way to go with it. And so Warriors, it's not that Warriors bad, it's that their food went away and an illusionist matchup came in that is like horrendous, right? Which is not what you want to see. So maybe I really wish that Warriors' time in the sun lasted a little bit longer than 1 season, but that's just the reality of what happened. Simple as that. But between the two, I would recommend learning Levia. I think it is the better deck, and it's going to take harder to get those results. So I think you got to look at your time investment. If you got to say, if you can say, I have a little bit of time to invest in Flesh and Blood, play KO. If you're trying to be min max competitive, I would play Levia. Me personally. I plan on taking Zen to Nats and feel really good on a 3 bonds list with 6 Gustwaves. Would you recommend Ancestral Harmony in the list? Yeah, you should always be on Harmony. Just a good value blue. Harmony of the Hunt or Incantation. Curious which you prefer since they're so similar. So if I'm not mistaken, Harmony of the Hunt goes to the banish zone. If I'm not mistaken, it could go to hand. I'm not sure. I think it's the banish zone though. And so that's a minus for Hunt. Hunt blocks 2, Incantation blocks 3. The only plus I think you get from Harmony of the Hunt is you can banish it with Art of War. Oh, both are hand. So do you want to run a 2 block that does the same thing that you can banish Art of War, or do you want to run a 3 block? Is kind of the way I like to. Both are hand, yeah. So do you want to run a 2 block over a 3 block so that way you have less situational situations with kind of Art of War? Is the way that I look at it. There's also the fact that if you play Incantation, you are kind of signing up to the fact that you have to play a Tiger to extract 3 value, which a lot of the decks are built in a way to where you like to use your Tiger for other things like Art of War fodder and stuff like that. So I think if you want to be more aggressive, play Hunt. If you want to play more mid-rangey kind of situational, play Harmony or Incantation. Let me get back up here. What would your pack one pick one if it was a red Key Unleash and Leylat? Stop it. Stop it. We're not gonna talk about that. We're just gonna move on past that question. Did not register. Does Warrior stand a chance in this meta? I watched Josh's stream, Don played Door yesterday, and it seemed too weak. Does Hatchets fare better? Or should I just switch to Bolt? If I'm giving you my 100% honest opinion, I don't I would play if you said you were playing one of the two and you had no other options. I'm bringing Bolden. I'm good into Kano. I'd make sure I had a raiding list with Soulbound Resolve and like a bunch of tech for Kano to win that. Uh, you're gonna lose to Enigma. You're gonna lose to. You might can beat New pretty easily, but like I don't know. Hatchets and Dawnblade, just the people you want to be hitting, you can't hit. The people who don't give a shit and just do more damage than you, you hit them anyway. So like I don't know. It just doesn't um it doesn't make sense in my head on why you would bring Dorinthia to nationals. That's my opinion. Talk to me about the right way to build Dorinthia. Oh no, not after that answer. Not like this. Oh man, not like this. Are we on triple chorus plus fan brace? Do we still have enough slots for AB2 plus Oasis? Look, chorus and van brace are good, but the realistic aspect, like these things are fine, but you have to hit Enigma is the problem. You have to actually go over their blocks to trigger their effects. And I think the problem is that's not going to happen. Every single instant of the reaction in the game of Dorinthia versus Enigma, Enigma always has the most information in every step of the combat chain. Whereas every other matchup, it's the opposite. Dory has the information, whether the reprise is triggered or not, yada, yada, yada. Literally, Enigma has, it's like having better position in poker. You were just dominated on information. Simple as that. With all face up info, your headpiece bot correct. Yep, I thought it did. Do you think the new hype representation died down with their matchup into Illusionist, or do you think the representation stays high? I think that the reason it was the most represented at the PTI event in Montreal was I don't think that that was a competitive decision. I think that that was like a coolness factor kind of situation. I'm expecting the amount of new to decrease. Not by a whole lot, but I just don't think it'll be like the top 3 most represented. Does Zen win the Ninja Mirror versus Katsu or Fi? I know it beats Fi. I know for a fact. Katsu, I mean, it depends. It depends on like what type of Zen list you have, how willing it is to block and things like that. Why incantation over harmony? We already went over that. Have you considered burdens of the past as a zero cost transcend? Yeah, it's just not enough for me. It's hard to extract that value. Block 2. Got to play what's comfy at Nats. Never switch from Rippy. 400 games under my belt. Hey, I think Riptide's a fine deck to bring. Also, one more damage on Art of War turns. One more chain link. That's true. If you're running artist, yeah, because it's 2 attacks versus the other one. Yep, you're right. So, like I said, more aggressive, go harmony. More mid-rangey, incantation. Choice is yours. And plays around D reacts in the end game. Also, better attack with Art of War 4 than 1. Yep. Question of questions. How do you think Briar would do in this meta? I think she would not be good enough. If I was bringing Briar to Nats, it was not because I thought it was the most competitive choice. It would be because I enjoy playing it. I don't think she could compete, if I'm being honest. As a new player, I started to play in heavy hitters, played Victor, and not good at it. Does the meta always shift that hard in between seasons? Victor or any Guardian seem to be in a rough spot. Okay. What has happened on the release of this set has the last time that this happened was Tales of Aria, which was 3 years ago? Has it been that long, guys? Holy shit. Yeah, 3 nats ago. Uh, that's insane. Yeah, because it was Tark won it. It was Tark, then Hamilton, then Charles. Yeah, so it's been 3 years since I would say that it's happened like a major shift like this, an astronomical shift. Um, so this is not the norm. This is not the norm. Will LSS carry in this direction and it become the norm? That's possible. I don't know. That's a decision that they have to make. But um, this is the first time in a long time that it's shifted this drastically, this quickly. Is Bolton the best warrior for this meta? I think it is. What are your thoughts on Kindle? Is it real? I think Kindle's phenomenal. I think Kano is a real deck, even in the shadows of Enigma. I think that Kano is something that should be respected at your nationals. I will be respecting it. Let's say a decently skilled player has just 5 days to prep for Nats. What would they play? Asking for a friend. Josh, I'd play Zen. I mean, it just does a thing, right? Like you're gonna have to get a lot of reps on it because there's a lot going on, right? Like there's a lot of pieces. You're already pretty good at knowing what's in your deck because you have a lot of like searching cards, like seeing Stillblade and stuff like that. But I think you pick it up 5 days. Play Riptide, dude. Don't do that. Don't do that. Not in 5 days anyway. It's okay to do that for a pro quest, but not in that. Okay, so Dory no bueno. So talk to me about Bolton. Looks like. I mean, I once again, I said he's the best warrior. Not something I would bring, but um, I would I would bring a Raiden build. I think decks in the format that you can kill with combo are not going to give you enough time. I think you have to take a Raiden approach. Simple as that. Josh asking what to play is so over for Warriors. I hate to be negative, but I mean, look, I'm a fan of like the dual wielding warriors and stuff like that, and I just don't see a reason to play the hero. I don't see it. Would you play in an LL skirmish if it got pushed through to OP? I don't play normal skirmishes, so probably not. um, I basically just try to go to the hyper competitive events, and I wish I had more time for more casual stuff. But when you have a wife and 2 kids and other responsibilities, it makes it a little bit difficult to go to I'm lucky that I get to do what I get to do, right? And I don't like pushing that envelope even further. Talking to Pat, Kindle is definitely real. Deck is super messed up, but it's a lot harder to play now. Kano will get punished even harder for mistakes. Absolutely. Josh, I've been asking you the same thing. Do you feel like this game is starting to feel like Yu-Gi-Oh? Or a shell of what it used to be? I do not agree with that statement. Look, I think the game is getting closer to what it used to be. Right? So we had WTR that came out and it was kind of here, right? And then Arcane Rising came out and then Crucible came out. And then Tails and Monarch was the apex, right? Well, I guess technically Everfest was the apex. So Everfest came out, then it was like a whole bunch of different sets that just like the power level of the set just like went down, right? And that's what they called like the Fab 2.0. And I think we're just back on the uptrend, right? Of going back to we're definitely not in a Yu-Gi-Oh situation. I've seen people play Yu-Gi-Oh and that people that play Yu-Gi-Oh just sometimes watch the other people play. I don't think we're ever getting to that point. But I think that we're just on an uptrend in power level, which I think is a good thing. Because if the meta would have continued from where it was, right, in a point where everybody's just doing 2 card eights, I think it would have gotten like very stale very quickly. I think a lot of people would have lost interest in the game. I think the power spike at this particular point in time is the best time at which it could have happened. I will say that it's the first time since Monarch that we have seen, I guess technically Everfest, that we have seen a direct representation of power creep. Like always before, it's been like, this is a little better, slide this in. No, Part the Misveil is power creep. There's no mistaking it. Traverse the Universe is power creep. Okay. Is it a lot? Maybe, maybe not. That'll be decided, right? In bans going forward and stuff like that. Like the meta will make that decision on whether it's too much. But I can definitively say it's power creep, which is okay. It's okay to have a little bit of power creep in your game. I just hope that the meta proves that it's a little bit, not a lot, right? That's what we don't want large instances of power creep. And we'll see how that plays out. How do you feel about Azuri? All the new stealth cards, reactions, feels like it's viable now to swap stealth cards into other cards. I think Azuri is worse than new. In my thought process and basis for that point is Azuri can very, very rarely attack the hand, right? Whereas new can do it much, much more often, right? Of course, Azuri has Shakedown. They both have Surgical, but like new has Bonds, Prognosis, Siren's Call. She can like look at that hand, ruin it in a lot of different ways. It's specifically the hand disruption. Arsenal disruption. The thing about Zen is like, I'm gonna be honest with you, Zen doesn't have to Arsenal to kill you. He could just draw 4 cards into it, right? So it's a little bit easier with 5 cards. But I think the problem with Azuri is there are not enough cards in the card pool. Even if you add the 2 for 6s like Amnesia, Weakest Link, stuff like that. Like, I just don't think there's enough to make it where, they can consistently pressure the hand. Yeah, this set made Fab as close to 1 point. Yeah, absolutely. It's on the uptrend. We aren't spamming special summons and doing 1-card combos. That is true. Yeah, I love Azuri, but new is just so insanely good and much more powerful. I agree. We don't have any true floodgates. That's true. And even if we do have floodgates, they only last 1 turn, right? Which in a game that doesn't carry over a board state is much less impactful. No mass AoE. Yep. I think that there's a difference of good heroes and pushed. I agree. Heavy and Kano was powerful and meta changing, but the set seems actually too pushed. It could be. And that's why it's important for players to voice their opinions, give criticisms, and voice their concerns. Try to do it constructively and not just complain about stuff. It's usually received a lot better. But if you think it's too strong, let them know. Traverse isn't Mask of Recurring Nightmares, but it's close. I don't know. I'd rather have Traverse. Why is new so much better than Azuri? I get the late game new activation really strong. It's just the hand disruption. Specifically the hand disruption. Azuri can play Prognosis, but it's much less likely that Azuri hits, right? Because you have a whole nother ratio, right? New gets to play stealth cards in reactions, right? And she has to balance blues and reds and stuff like that. Azuri has to play reactions, stealth cards, blue cards, 2 for 6s. Like, there's a lot more ratios, so you can't like, you can run prognosis all you want. It's probably not hitting because you don't have the reactions to support it. Also, can't use bonds either. Like, cards ass in bonds. Or bonds is ass in Missouri. I mean, pummel's fine, but like, if you flash in, you're wasting the resource on the pummel. It's not that good. And how much damage did you take to keep that 4-card hand? Doesn't have that much better of equipment. Yep, feeling that it has to be competitive. You have to switch to either Zen or Enigma. Bonds with Azuri is pretty tough to pull off. Yep. Or new to beat Zen. I mean, new's pretty good into Zen. And Stonewall Gauntlet shut down Zen turns. It's not as good as people think it is. It has value. It can have value, right? If you learn the spots to block and stuff like that, like it can. But there's a lot of agency that the Zen player has most of the time to where they can just break the chain and stop the -1s. So it's like not, you know, it's not bad, but if you're relying on that to win the match, it's probably not going to work. Do you think the best moment to buy misspell cards will be after Nats or prices will increase anyway? So after Nats, prices will consolidate to what is winning, right? So if you're really in tune with the meta, you would buy cards now for something that you think will perform very well over national season, and then buy the rest after it underperforms. I think the cards are already pretty cheap. I mean, Stonewall Gauntlets is like $15 right now. Like, it's a legendary. It's not going to go much less than $15. I would hope. Mask of the Recurring is card for card. It's not that insane. It just feels insane. Traverse is a cracked mask of pouncing links in Zen. It is, but it gives you another card, the Tiger, and it gives you any card in your deck, not one that has the base power of 2, and you get to block with it. When you pop links, you don't get to block with it. So it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I think the new heroes are strong, but at the same time, I think power creep is in check because of talents. Most of this really push cards and be like, yep. Yeah. I really think certain heroes from the old should borrow something from Smash Bros. Comeback mechanics. Yeah. Mask is a permanent way to maintain tempo. Okay. So Mask does not maintain tempo. Mask limits the amount of tempo that can be exchanged, is the correct mathematical way to look at Mask. Right? If you're activating Mask, you are dealing less damage, right? Which is you giving up a little bit of piece of tempo, right? But you're ripping a card from them, which means they are dealing less tempo. So you're restricting the amount of tempo that could be exchanged. You're not. I don't think it's correct when you say you maintain it. You are just restricting it. I have a question. How should someone who is new to the game maintaining Kasai transition from value to this new meta? If you're playing Kasai, I think you have to play it the most aggressive way you can. Simple as that. You basically force them to block a head jab, but even better. Which means they never get tempo back. It's a win more card. It won't really help you take priority. Traverse lets you make big plays. I agree. Not only Smash Bros, but I'm thinking something like the heroes that require pivots to win just aren't pivoting anymore. I.e. Dorinthia. I agree. Just think Mask is like you attacked with that card and they block. Yeah, I mean that's exactly how it should look like. But the difference is you can block down your hand and do that exchange. Mask is going to require you to take damage to do that because you have to play the attack, you have to transcend, you got to pitch it, right? Like you can't just mask every turn. It's not Cornet Peak. That is not what that card is. It's a Cornet Peak that forces you to put cards on the board, which in exchange is going to force you to take damage. If you're up on cards and mask, it means next cycle you're again up on cards and maintaining tempo. True. Right. All right. Well, we're on 3 hours and the questions look like they're kind of drying up. Pat came in. How are you liking draft so far? Do you have 3 O's on all 3 heroes? Draft is still a work in progress, of course. I don't think you can ever do enough drafts, but I have a solid strategy. It's not one I came up with, but someone was nice enough to share it, and I think it's a solid strategy that I will be looking to implement. It's kind of my idea. What are your thoughts on Bonds Zen versus Tiger combo Zen? Keep being told Bond Zen is where it's at, but I feel like Tiger combo Zen feels more consistent and less almost gimmicky. What do you think? Um, I mean, it just depends, right? Like, I feel like they're just doing something different. I think that, you know, Bonds, I think the Bonds deck actually has a lot of people would probably disagree with me by saying this, but I think the Bonds deck is more prone to bricking, whereas the Tiger generation deck is not. Um, Now you can build the deck in a way to where it kind of like, minimizes that, but you do take a lot off of the ceiling, which is important against decks like Enigma and stuff like that. But, you know, I I think there's validity to both build types. I think do you want higher highs and lower lows or vice versa, right? Before you go, talk to us about a quick Nats meta. What do you really believe will be the most represented? I expect nude to be higher represented, punish inexperienced players with limited prep. Oh man. All right. Here's the quick and dirty on the Nats meta. I think Zen's probably the most represented deck. I think following that is probably Enigma. Following that is New slash Brutes. And then Kano very close. That's where I see the meta, probably. And keep in mind, when I say Zen is probably the most represented, you have to remember we have like a bajillion heroes in the CC format. So the most represented, before you go like taking every single card you can to tech against it, the most represented historically, like just to give you a frame of reference, Starvo was the most exaggerated meta the game's ever seen as far as like people playing one deck in a meta, right? And its representation floated anywhere between 35 and 40%, right? 35 to 40% of the room was Starvo. Now, if you compare that to Lexi, to, whatever the best decks have been the past couple seasons, I don't think they've broken 20. Or if they have, it was like barely. So when I say it's the most represented deck, it's not even going to be 1/5 of, it's not even going to be 1/5 of the room. So when you're doing your teching, be careful. Be careful. Been on Tiger Gen deck with momentum. I've never lost the mirror. I mean, makes sense. Your Nat's dark horse. Ugh. I mean, I said on my tier list that it was Max, and I'm gonna stick with it. Max is like my dark horse. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Max. I don't. I think Kano's gonna have a great weekend. I don't think Kano's a dark horse. I mean, I put him at the top of my tier list, so I just think he's a good deck. I don't think there's nothing dark horse about Kano. I like how everyone is so high on Zen after so many people saying he would be borderline unplayable until barely over a week ago. Well, that wasn't the case for me. You can check me on the stream before the set came out. My exact quote was Zen was the one I was worried about because I looked at Zen as a combo-y deck. And every time they release a combo deck into the format, the devs and the designers draw a line. And they where they draw the line is very important for the game and the players to analyze and on what's acceptable and what's not as far as what a combo deck can do. And that's, like it's interesting where it landed is what I'll say. It's very interesting. um yeah. Nobody around here was ever down on Zen. I don't know who you're referring to, maybe other content creators, but I've been high on Zen since he was spoiled. I think how everyone, yeah, we already went over that. Dash IO is so scary. Got hit with 5 boom nades and she blew me up. Yeah, I mean, but you have armor. Like, I don't know. Not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed in Zen at first. I'm a ninja main, and comparing the cards that Zen got versus the card that Enigma and Nu got felt like the cards were weaker for Zen than others. Uh, we'll see about that. We'll see about that. What's up? What's up? I think he's a great deck, but how many players will actually elite on him? If 30 players play it, how many are actually the ones plugged into the matrix? I'm assuming you're referring to like Kano. And yeah, I agree with that. But all right, I think we're going to go ahead and call it. Questions are starting to dry up. I think we're going to go ahead and call it. I once again want to thank everybody for joining me. We blew past 200 today. Thank you so much for joining me. I think we had like almost 250 people here for the stream. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Once again, I will not be doing a stream on next Wednesday, and that's due to I will be traveling for nationals on that day. Anybody that is playing any events this weekend, or if you're going to nationals, I wish you the absolute best of luck. Whether you're playing the calling, nationals, battle hardened, PTI event, whatever the case may be, I wish you the best of luck. And yeah, if you see me at nationals, please say hi. We love talking to people. Please do not be shy. Thanks, Nathan, for all your responses, questions, and answers. Absolutely. Any way that I can help. Ask Nathan, I ranched him today. What does that even mean? Oh, thank you for the stream. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, Mark. All right, Pat, take care. Looking forward. All right, everybody. Take care. Have a good night. Good luck at Nats, calling, whatever you're going to. And everybody have a good one. Take care.